Night has fallen here on Pensacola Street as we continue opening night of the 2018 OIA softball season. It is game number 2 of our doubleheader and a showdown between two teams in the West, Mililani and Kapolei. With that, we welcome inside the booth. Great to have you with us with Lori Santi, Felipe Ojastro, Jimmy Bender's coming up in just a second. All right, so these are the two teams, perennial powerhouses, obviously, here in the West, but turning new chapters. A lot of graduation losses from last season.
This is the Wild Wild West. It gets me excited just to be able to watch this game this early in the season. Of course, Keoki Bihig going over to Kapolei from Campbell, having spent 14 years at Pearl City. And, of course, Rose Antonio on the other side, losing the state championship last year. Not their first rodeo. So this is going to be a fantastic sort of preview of the Wild West this season.
All right, so let's take a look at this Mililani team. They've reached the state final 3 out of the last 4 years. They've had great pitchers in their time in that recent history. Aubrey Kim, Misha Carrera, and the next one in the line could be Joie Baker.
You know, it's interesting, and Rose talked about Antonio as I spoke to her today. They may be doing some pitching more by committee. She was thinking about putting 2 or 3 in a game and having him finish out. But right now, the best in the circle in her mind is Joie Baker, the freshman. So we will see if she is in that long line of Mililani dominant pitchers as she moves along in her young career here, or if they go by committee a little bit more, Mililani.
Meantime, here for Kapolei, brand new head coach, brand new pitcher as well. But this one comes from the Valley Isle in Cira Bartolotti.
And Bartolotti can bring it. She's up around 63, 64 miles per hour, working on her control a little bit. But I'll tell you what, she slings it pretty good. And that's just obviously fortuitous for Kapolei, surrounded by some pretty good athletes, some good hitters, some familiar names as we move along in the broadcast tonight that you will hear. And he's got some pretty good talent, so it's going to be interesting. Mililani, a little smaller lineup, maybe even a little more small ball this season than we've seen in the past couple years, but they still butter it up with some power through that lineup.
And they'll try and power their way for a very quick start here in 2018. Mililani has won 6 out of the last 8 head-to-heads against the Hurricanes. First pitch is on the way. Trojans, Hurricanes on Spectrum XCast. New City Nissan is Hawaii's premier Nissan dealer and a proud sponsor of high school athletics. You can check them out online, www.newcitynissan.com. It is New City Nissan in the heart of Kalihi. So we get ready for the Hurricanes and the Trojans to start up their 2018 campaigns in a pretty interesting offseason that they've had in preparation for the new year. Jimmy Bender?
Definitely Felipe and Lori, and like we mentioned earlier, I don't think off-season really exists anymore. We'll go off-season with the air quotes. But what I did talk to both of the coaches is what they kind of learned, what are some of the highlights of that time between last season and now. Over on the Mililani side, what Coach Rose Antonio told me is a lot of young faces, a lot of new people here that you're going to see. But she did say they just had a great time on Hawaii, great team bonding trip over there, played 6 games in 3 days. Hopefully that helps them gel. Now over on the Kapolei side, what Coach Keoki Bihig told me was one of the things that they did, and we kind of heard this with Roosevelt as well, weight room. He said they were hitting it 3 times a week, and he said they really noticed how much stronger the girls are. Even the girls are noticing it, and we heard that with Roosevelt and how that turned out for them. Maybe we'll see if that works out for Kapolei in this one. Guys, that's it from here in the field. Back to you.
All right, Jimmy, enjoy this chilly night as Kapolei will be the home team. Let's give you the zippy starting defensive lineups here for the Hurricanes. Cira Bartolotti, as we mentioned, the transfer from Maui High. Very familiar with this Mililani team. We'll chronicle that as we continue. But as you take a look at some of the adjustments, remember, Sienna Kauhi was second base last year. Now she's out over in center field. Chastity McKean was the shortstop. Now she's over in left. Elora Tonaki is the shortstop. Lisa Takenaka is over in right. You have Hussey and Okazaki on third and first, respectively. Lily Kaimi Montira, outstanding catcher. She could be on her way to yet another All-OIA selection. Will be catching the pitches of someone not named Sadie Kapakuyu for the first time in her high school career. Instead, it's Cira Bartolotti.
Kapakuyu, you know, those names are so familiar. They threw so many innings, the Iron Horse of this program. And speaking of Iron Horse, Bartolotti showing off the guns tonight and the pitching circle. Keoki Bihig really excited about this group. I think he's excited to be back on top as the head coach, too. You know, I asked him if he was a little nervous. It had been a while since he'd been on TV as a head coach of a program. He said, yeah, I'm a little nervous.
And the first pitch here to Matsukawa to start us off in their fourth strike. Kami Matsukawa will lead us off. Cherise Mori bats second. Beth Winchester bats third. The DP is Tracy Okamura. She'll bat in the cleanup spot. Katie Carlos, the catcher, bats fifth. Jordan Okamura, the shortstop, bats sixth. Cameron Sasaki, Kobe Brown, Maya Saniishi round out the bottom third of the order here for Mililani.
And right away, you see sort of the long levers of Bartolotti, and the ball gets on you really quick, and it's deceptive because the windup isn't real quick. But from the release to the catcher's mitt is.
Pretty quickly here, we already have some late changes to the batting card here for Keoki Bihik's crew. Chanel McKinney is going to be over in center field instead of Cira Kauhi. And so they put Kauhi from center to second, so her usual spot that she's anchored down the last couple of years. Yeah, this one is just slashed, and look out, that's off the concession stand table. Look out, ladies. See, everyone's okay out there for Matsukawa.
It's interesting. You wonder if something might have happened in warm-up because we touched base with Keoki Bihik.
You saw Kauhi, 30 on the varsity team, as this one zips outside.
Matsukawa, such a tough strike zone. Really said, a little bit smaller lineup, which also makes it difficult, especially when you throw as hard as Bartolotti does. Like it's, similar to baseball. A lot of times stuff comes up just naturally.
Bartolotti has clocked in at around 65 miles an hour, but Coach Keoki Bihik, in his first season as the head coach for Kapolei, saying, hey, we want her to get to a very confident 60, something with much more control. And since she transitioned from Maui to Kapolei, I mean, it has been pretty smooth in the preseason so far here for Kapolei. Oh, Matsukawa hanging tough.
Really has that calm affect in the pitching circle. But we talked about this team even from last season. This is a team, obviously starting this program, Tony Saffrey, but it's a team when on a good day they play with anybody. And there's some talent and some athletic ability in between the lines here. And a leadoff walk for Matsukawa. Went deep into that count.
So Matsukawa, who is a sophomore, it's a team with 8 seniors here for the Trojans. Matsukawa just one of 4 sophomores on this team, and now here comes the second baseman, Cherise Mori, the junior.
Too often we see Mililani with the number 2 hitter, not left-handed. Because they play small ball, I'm Mori, of course, capable of playing from that right side. But Rose Antonio juggling this lineup, trying to figure out what works best.
This one popped up, and it's fouled. Going back here for Mori. And they lost a lot of power hitters from last year here, Lori. I mean, they lose Shannon Pasquale, they lose Mama Rivera, they lose Misha Carrera inside the circle that brought so much steadiness.
We'll see Mama Rivera tomorrow night. She's playing for the University of Hawaii, and they play against Berkeley tomorrow night against Cal. Kind of exciting to follow these players' careers. But you saw the ease with that release and the movement. We have a great view from back here. And Bartolotti, that ball, lots of movement coming into the outside part of the plate. First strikeout of the game.
And so here comes Beth Winchester, second year on the varsity team, Guava Jam Club member. Her cousin is Kai Winchester. He was an outstanding talent for Iolani a few years ago. Now he's playing over at Grand Canyon University after having a cup of coffee over at Central Arizona. For Beth, she said, hey, this team, we have a lot of team speed and a lot of energy from everybody.
Well, she said, this is a hungry team. Coaching staff from Mililani said there's some young ones. She said they're hungry. And, sometimes it's hard to stay hungry when you've had that kind of success, but you have to wait your turn to get into this lineup sometimes, right? So you get your turn. And of course, the younger players, we've seen this in all sports across the board, and their transition, they're ready to play as freshmen, a lot of these kids. And we've been seeing that even more and more off Roosevelt's team as well a couple years ago. Players that are juniors now impacted that program as freshmen.
Up on the ground towards Kauhi. Contact there. Throw to first. It's in time.
Wow, not sure what Matsukawa was seeing there.
Called her out.
Yeah, absolutely. Ball was being fielded by the second baseman, so Mililani will go down after the obstruction.
Good job there from Cal. He had a brace for impact on this chopper right to her. Half inning to go. Defensive lineups here for Mililani. They only have 2 players, really, that are returning starters from last year, but they've been banged up with injuries. Sasaki, Saneishi, Matsukawa left to right in the outfield. Winchester, Okumura, Mori, and Brown left to right. And then you have Katie Carlos, the catcher, and then you have Joey Baker, who has some of those flashes of what Aubrey Kim was like when she was a freshman. It's a very calm demeanor for this 9th grader, but she can deliver inside the circle. But it's a big test against a very hungry Kapolei team.
It really is, and the blessing for her in the circle is the fact that she's surrounded by some really talented infielders and outfielders, right? So you're trying to pitch to contact here a little bit, get loose.
Trying to hook up there with Katie Carlos. No relation, by the way, to Kiki Carlos. She does get asked that a lot.
I'm sure. That's a softball.
As Lilica Imi Montero will lead us off, the senior who's hitting 200 this season, or last season, I should say. Got 6 RBIs. On her way to Edmonds Community College in Washington. 9 Hawaii players are currently there.
Out of the 14 on that roster.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Okay, so Lilica Imi Montero, 4th year in the varsity team. I mean, she brings such a great level of intensity and leadership here.
Edmonds College outside of Seattle, Linwood, Washington. And that ball roped into left field.
Again, down and deep into the corner. Sasaki chased it. Imi Montero with a leadoff double here for Kapolei. She only had 2 doubles all of last year. She has one on game 1 of 2018.
And Sasaki was pulled in a little bit, leadoff hitter, and talked about the outfield being a little bit slow. That ball got to the fence, hit hard. We're going to have some wheels of changing into second base. Keoki Bihik going to his bench already.
There's Ashley Membreri.
Courtesy runner. Amy Montero, the catcher.
And now here comes Chanel McKinney. So Chanel McKinney, former Mililani Trojan, transferred into Kapolei just a couple of seasons ago. And McKinney, the center fielder. This one is right at the plate. See Ashley Membreri in there. Keoki Bihik took Pearl City to a state title a dozen years ago. He hasn't been a head coach really in about 5 seasons. He says it's nice to get back into the swing of things, and this one is fouled back by McKinney.
Did a nice job, obviously, as an assistant at Campbell, but it is hard to go back to that. You know, when you've been there that long. I mean, 14 years, and of course that tremendous state championship team. Wayne Guzman Brown, some unbelievable athletes on that team. That was really quite the state championship. I mean, that was a team that obviously was talented, but for him to be able to take Pearl City to the state championship and win it was big.
Up high here from Baker.
And of course, quick to credit Tony Saffrey. Of course, Tony coaching the junior varsity team, still very involved in the program, and kind of nice to continue his teachings there a little bit.
Pull the string on the off speed. That one sailed outside though. Here for McKinney at 2-2. McKinney is a savage when she steps into the box. I mean, she has improved her strength. In fact, all these girls have put on their strengths with the new weightlifting program that was implemented. That one popped up and will drop down for a single. Membreri stays at second, and McKinney is on with Kapolei's second consecutive hit.
The first 2 hitters keeping Sasaki busy, pulling her string a little bit on that. The first ball ended up at the fence. This one just drops down in front of Sasaki. Membreri won't advance from second to third, play right in front of her.
In that magical season a couple of years ago, and Kapolei was able to defeat the likes of Mililani and Campbell en route to an OIA championship. They went all the way to the state final. Fell to Campbell. And at the time, what was Campbell's second consecutive state championship. Bartolotti sees that one zip by for the strike.
Good pitch there. Came down in the zone a little bit. And you are right that good velocity for Baker, so there were times when she will miss up in the strike zone. Got to make sure it's way up with Bartolotti.
That was way up. Good hands there from Carlos coming out from the crouch, and now time is called by Carlos.
Can't believe that Pearl City Championship was 2006. And Rose Antonio's been a head coach at Mililani for 14 years. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah. That was my senior year. At Moanalua, obviously, but...
Oh, my gosh. What? Your senior year?
Yeah, in high school, yeah. In 2006.
Wow. Were you at the game? Were you practicing?
I was not. Swing and a miss there.
Good pitch by Baker there. That's what I'm talking about. That just enough to entice Bartolotti. If she comes down much more, it's out of here. And, you know, it's that fine line. She's making her reach for something, enticing her with that high strike.
Popped up and out of play towards the road right behind us. Bartolotti, the junior, with a great work ethic. She just meshed in so, easily with this team. Just watching it in practice and when they get to the workouts, and they've embraced her, and she is going to be adding to a pitching circle and a depth chart. The likes of Tatum Guzman, who got the nod right behind Sadie Kapaku-Yu last season. And
he's sitting in a pretty good position. I mean, Keoki Bihik has a nice group to work with.
And fairly young, too. Again, as mentioned, just the junior here for Bartolotti. 2-1, nobody out. Bold right to the plate. Off they go to third, and the tag was not in time. Didn't even contact McBrary.
McBrary, nice slide here. Perfect. Textbook goes around the outside of the bag. The throw coming from home plate. You watch the retreat. Here she comes. She's going to come around that outside corner, duck away from the tag. That's just a great piece of base running. You remember, as a pinch runner, it's nice to have that luxury on the bench. That was Lily Kaimi Montira. Of course, it started this off with a double. McBrary in to run for her, courtesy runner.
Count full here. First and third. Nobody out. And Bartolotti, high fly ball in the left. Back at the wall, gone!
Sasaki went down hard out there, running right through that fence. She's still down. A towering home run, Bartolotti. It was making me nervous, that high pitch. And Bartolotti just lifted that. Sasaki with 3 straight plays in left field. This one well out of reach. You just see the strength, almost looked like a half swing. Bartolotti's so strong. It's Sasaki over the fence and down.
Welcome to Kapolei. Cira Bartolotti with a bomb. And it's 3-0 second inning. That's 3 straight hits. I told you she meshed it well. That was incredible.
You mix in well with anybody when you're that talented, I'll tell you. Bartolotti initiated to the Wild West here in her opener.
Man alive.
I feel like we might need to move these fences back this year. Saw the 3 home runs, I believe, in the front end of our doubleheader by Roosevelt. Rough Riders putting up 10 in that first inning against Kailua. All different types. Line drive out, towering home run similar to Bartolotti there as well. So Baker's young. She's got to settle down here, work down in that strike zone a little bit. She's got some talented hitters behind her.
And drops in there for the strike here to Lisa Takenaka. And these two young pitchers that we have seen in the last 2 games. So you're talking about Kailua and Selena Serikawa for the Surf Riders, and now Joey Baker got put to the test early. Serikawa and against the Roosevelt Rough Riders, where Roosevelt put up 10 runs. And Kapolei's put up 3 here already with nobody out.
I think too, in general, the hitting's always a little bit in front of the pitching at this time of year. You haven't pitching could be so fine and just working your pitchers, getting them innings. Hitting apparently in order for both Roosevelt and Kapolei.
Good throw there for the out. Boy, do they need that one. Winchester to Brown, and it's 1 away here in the first. Right, Enterprise scores around town earlier. Game 1 of our doubleheader. Roosevelt in 5 innings, as we mentioned, scoring 10 runs in the first frame. They went at 14-0, and Roosevelt able to start off the season 1-0. As this one is outside here for Tatum Guzman. The wind has been relatively calm here. The weather's been very pleasant. It's a nice little chill in the air here on Pensacola Street.
Yeah, it's kind of cozy in here, though. I think we're in a good spot, probably less wind than many parts of the island. It does get up there, though, as the ball gets up past these lights a little bit, and it gets a little swirly. Baker taking her time here.
It's in there for the strike.
That's a good pitch. Good spot on that inside part of the plate. Baker, good velocity.
Yeah.
As most Mililani pitchers have had over the past, 15 years?
Yeah, the 2-1 from Baker. That is on the ground, backhanded Okamura. Smooth, fluid, butter. Out number 2.
That's amazing. She had her glove fingers down on this play. The ball pops out. She manages to grab it in the air and still make the play. Okamura. Watch this. Backhand side, turns it over. Really blocks it with her bare hand. Makes a nice hard throw to first. Some new bodies in some key spots here. At shortstop position in the circle for Mililani. And Rose said she really feels like this is a work in progress. This is a team that's always going to be ranked in the top 2 or 3 in the state as we move along in the season.
Yeah.
And I don't think Rose Antonio thought they were quite ready for that, but they will be by the end of the season.
Oh, no doubt. Here's Chastity McKean, the left fielder. And McKean, near the handle, found some grass.
McKean's so fun to watch, Felipe. So athletic. I feel like she could play 8 positions on the field. Runs really well, just strong in the upper body. Keokee-Bihik talked about their training, not sort of the classic Olympic lift type stuff. They're doing a lot of specialized training, which is really sort of where it's at now, right? Specific to your sport, specific to your needs, and kids have really bought into it.
And all these girls have been been bragging to each other about how a lot of them have been in the best shape of their athletic lives here. As Hussey will foul that one away. I was there for practice last week. I never seen a team run more. Maybe Campbell, but at least a Kapolei team that hasn't run more than what Keokee-Bihik has done in the last several weeks. After the foul away, here's the 0-1.
Of course, back to Tony Safri. Talked about him coaching the junior varsity program, but helping his daughter out. Yeah. And that's kind of a treat for Tony.
And that was one of the big goals that he wanted after his final season 2 years ago. Be closer to his family, but would still be involved in the game.
Yeah. Kealikehi, and that's kind of the nice part. I as a softball, someone who runs a program, if you're Keokee-Bihik and you've taken over a program, the fact that the seasons are different is a blessing, right? You can really sort of follow your season, have people involved, and and then move into your own varsity season. Most sports aren't like that.
I'll see the third baseman will pop this one out of play. They'll head to the road. Someone's jogging over and trying to get the ball out there. So it's a 3-0 game. If you're just joining us, the 3-run shot from Cira Bartolotti into deep left field has given Kapolei the lead, as now we have some light sprinkles entering McKinley Tiger Softball Stadium for the first time.
It feels like the wind's died down, but now the rain's picked up a little bit.
Dish here covered well by Carlos, right behind the dish. What was Antonio saying? Hey, this team and this season is going to be very interesting. They had a good tournament in Waimea in the preseason.
They got most of those games in. That ball hit deep.
Look out at the wall, and it's gone!
Are you kidding me?
Hussey sends it away, and it's 5-0 Kapolei.
So this is a team that came in here at 10-5, have had some big wins in this non-conference season in the tournaments against Maryknoll. But I didn't expect that. This ball looked like it might have carried out in center field. Hit it way high up in the air. Baker looks like she knew it a little bit coming out of that pitch in the pitching circle and just sails over the head of Sanaishi. Gave it a good look. Again, that fence is taking a beating today.
Hussey a 2-run shot. Bartolotti a 3-run shot. 5-0 with 2 down here.
And Hussey in that 7th spot. So peppered through this lineup. Some power for Kapolei.
It's Kylie Ozaki getting some looks from Pacific Lutheran, second-year varsity woman. Here for the Hurricanes. Fly ball to center. Oh my! It's gone! Past the big wall!
Ozaki with the hand in the air from home to first. She knew it. It's like a double take, right? From game 1. Unbelievable.
Back-to-back checks. The third one in the frame for Kapolei.
The trifecta in the first. Bartolotti helping herself as the 3-batter hits the first one. And then Hussey and now Ozaki in the 7 and 8 spots.
Look at this.
We'll see how long Rosie Antonio goes here with Baker. Mentioned that she's got a couple pitchers on this roster, not afraid to use. And
6'2" Cheyenne Ardona, the senior, is another viable option who, as recent as yesterday, was penciled in as the starter. But
yeah, she was definitely debating. I wasn't sure we were going to get the lineup even today, up until really up through warm-up. Rosie Antonio, trusting, of course, Walter Kahili, her longtime pitching coach, down there on the. Walter's one of the taller guys, so his head just comes over the top even when he's sitting on the bucket calling pitches on the first base line there.
There's Sienna Calhi, second baseman, on her way to Edmonds Community College as well. So her, Lily Kaimi Montero, and Chanel McKinney all signing with Edmonds. It'll be interesting to see how this freshman will get over the mental hurdle. 3 home runs in the frame, 6-0, 2 down here.
Well, pitching in this division, you have to have a pretty short memory, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's just.
Kapolei, a lot of the girls saying this season they were jacked and they were ready to go as far as trying to make some noise yet again in the West. And on the ground past Okamura. Galwi gets on.
That ball again on the backhand side for Okamura. Kind of up in the air and tried to take that the same way, just gets past her. Got some wheels here at first base. Kauhi is your 9 hitter. That's a luxury.
Yeah.
And Keoki Beek was talking about different strategy in his lineup as opposed to the sort of classic 4-5-6 hitter. Sort of treats it as a 1-2-3 and then again a 1-2-3 type hitter in the middle of that lineup. So you get a leadoff and it's somebody who can move the player and then a big hitter in that 6th spot. So the 4-5-6 much more similar to the 1-2-3 in his lineup, as opposed to just sort of being power, and then a leadoff type hitter at the 6th spot. So a lot of different things. He's always been a guy who's used his best hitter in the number 1 spot to get that player more at bats, and I've always been a fan of that too, especially in high school ball.
So analytical, very meticulous in his preparation,
and very open to, he's does a lot of things on the cutting edge. He goes to conferences, he sees what's out there. Still continues to be a student of the game, but he's had enough time to formulate, to really have a strategy and a plan.
This one is just tipped at the plate. 3-1 the count here. Already 40 pitches in this first frame before the freshman Joey Baker. Koki Bihik also said, in another life, he hoped to be some kind of like sports PR type of guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy to talk to in terms of his knowledge of the game and sort of knowing what's going on in the community and even outside the community. He does a great job placing his kids at the next level too. He's really opened a lot of doors for a lot of the seniors at Campbell this season that he of course left.
But more than 40 kids in his time coaching have gone on to play at the next level. That's what he preaches, opportunities, trying to give to these young athletes. And it says a lot about his character and kind of his coach's mission here in this brand new chapter of his coaching career.
And there's so many opportunities out there. People not sure they realize how much scholarship money exists in Division I, Division II, even junior college softball.
Got her swinging, a big strikeout here for Baker just to calm the nerves down, but the damage done already in the frame from the kids from Second City. 3 homers, 1 from Bartolotti, 1 from Hussey, the other from Kylie Ozaki. It's 6-0 after 1. Mike's Engraving and Trophies is the official trophy provider for Spectrum OC16 Sports. Tell you what, all your special achievements, call our guy Ryan. Mike's Engraving and Trophies, 486-5220. He's the best. Mike's Engraving and Trophies is located behind Cutter Ford in OIA. Our officials tonight are brought to you by Shopo Hawaii's Police Officers Union. 3-man mechanic here for our television game. Kali'i Franco calling the balls and strikes. Charles Urel and Ace Isao. Home first and third respectively, and now here comes Cira Bartolotti after having 1 strikeout in the first inning, and then a double play put up here from Sienna Kauhi at second. It was quick work, 3 up, 3 down, after giving up a walk to start the game. And now the middle third of the order, and Tracy Okamura, Katie Carlos, and Jordan Okamura. Tracy Okamura, the DP, takes a big cut at that one and comes up empty.
I'm getting cheated there. I wanted to get this out real quickly. Rosie Antonio said, please wish my mom, Jenny Antonio, happy birthday. Her birthday is tomorrow. Really close family, obviously. Rose and Joyce, both, of course, playing at University of Hawaii. Mom very proud. She said she didn't want to say her age, so I won't do that. But happy birthday to Jenny Antonio.
Happy birthday. You raised a good daughter, too.
Yeah, of course, 2 state championships for Rose Antonio, and also part of the staff when Mike Okamoto won that first one for Mililani.
Another strikeout here. It's the second one for Bartolotti.
You see that just natural rise ball for Bartolotti. That's just all about velocity. Little staircase. She'll start it down a little lower sometimes. It won't end up so high up. And when she has a waist pitch, she'll start it up in the zone. Make sure it lands out of the zone by the time it gets to the plate. So working a lot with the control, as you mentioned. hitters are pretty fine in this league. You know, in the Red West, you've got to be around the strike zone. I mean, you might be able to get away with some, stuff out of the strike zone a lot more against teams that don't have such good hitting. But in this division, there's not a lot of those. Yeah. So she looks good here.
On the ground towards Calhoun. She gets rid of it quick. Out number 2. Carlos goes down, and Sienna Calhoun, that leadership oozing through her pores these last couple of seasons and understanding the responsibility that she has. She is terrific. There's Jordan Okamura, the shortstop. A pretty good defensive play in the bottom of inning number 1. And the pitch to Okamura is on the inside for the strike.
That's such a good pitch. She steps a little bit away from this pitch, so it really travels inside and breaks inside to the right-handed hitter. That's a lively pitch.
On the ground, Tonaki. Got her.
Tonaki's so reliable. Keoki Biki likes to say with Bartolotti in the circle, they just need somebody to make those can of corn plays. And that's it right there, the end of the inning for Kapolei.
Just like that, 3 up, 3 down as the rain comes back inside Tiger Softball Stadium. Steadiness here for Kapolei, 6-0.
Welcome back to Tiger Softball Stadium. It's Jimmy Bender. Just want to touch on something that Lori Santi had mentioned earlier, and Felipe as well, about this Mililani pitching staff. Yeah, a lot of pitchers on the staff, and you mentioned Cheyenne Ordona, somebody who we thought might see the start tonight. One of the things I talked to Coach Rose about before the game is Cheyenne coming off the basketball season at Mililani. That just ended a couple weeks ago, and so obviously Cheyenne a little behind some of the other pitchers as far as getting in her time and practicing, so that may have something to do with it as well. Guys, send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Jimmy. McKinney put it down on the ground, but a good play there from Okamura to throw her out at first.
Really nice play. Nice to get that leadoff hitter, too, if you're Baker in that pitching circle. And there you see it coming up quick. Nice hard throw from that shortstop position. Good play by Brown over at first to hold on to the bag with her foot. Yeah, you go back to what Jimmy Bender said, and Ordona, tremendous athlete, and is a senior, hadn't played for a couple seasons, and it's hard. You want the kids to be multi-sport athletes, but when you play positions like pitcher, things that, take some repetition, it's sometimes hard to get those reps, but I am guessing that we will see her during the course of this season quite a bit.
So Bartolotti had a 3-run jack in the left to get the scoring going for Kapolei, going for more. Here's the 1-1. And off the end of the bat, goes right back to the screen. Joey Baker in for Mililani yet again for her second inning of work. And so a young pitcher, fairly young catcher as well this season for Mililani. Ooh, nice pitch on the inside. Pulled the string and got Bartolotti swinging.
So some adjustments made in between innings, and good for Joy Baker. Coming out here looking strong, and you see just committing to that front foot, right? Once that weight switches through, of course, if you're Bartolotti, with as strong as she is in the upper body, she could put the bat on it there, but that is just a great pull-to-string pitch by Baker.
And here comes Lisa Takenaka.
That's a kind of play that can, kind of just single pitch that can give you a lot of confidence. Kyoki Bihik said Takenaka just been so unassumingly good on both sides this year. Kind of a surprise for him. So she's really been solid.
There are a lot of girls on this team that aren't going to intimidate you because of their size, but they are tenacious.
Oh, yeah. And this is, of course, we talked about the 4 spot. This is sort of a leadoff. This is what Kyoki was talking about, instead of a big power hitter. He puts a lead off in that 4 spot. Tries to start the inning off like he would have here, but nice play. Mililani ends the inning. Some good defense by the Trojans.
Good job there from Cherise Mori to get the final out. 3 up, 3 down, 2 complete. 6-0 Kapolei. You're watching OIA softball on Spectrum XCast. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 1186, and its unionized electrical contractors are proud supporters of high school athletics and want to say good luck to all the student athletes and a big mahalo to all the coaches and other volunteers that make it happen. Beautiful night here at McKinley Tigers Softball Stadium. This will be the home of yet another OIA championship, a nice central location, and this becomes a great atmosphere by the time we get to late April, and both of these teams hoping to try and get there.
It's Rose, of course, wringing her hands. One of the biggest worriers I've ever seen.
She wakes up at 4:30 in the morning. We'll exchange emails sometimes at 4:30. I'm like, what are you doing up? She's like, oh.
She's in town. She works in town and then heads over to practice. She's been so great.